Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are talking about something that is literally going to change the game for how you build Teams agents. If you've ever, absolutely dreaded the setup phase of building a new tool, you are in the right place. We're going to look at exactly how the new CLI skill is completely streamlining Teams agent registration. We are taking it from a tedious chore to an automated breeze. So picture this. You want to build a Teams agent, right? Maybe it's going to pull answers straight from your internal knowledge base, or, I don't know, maybe run your daily team stand-ups to save everyone some time. Designing that logic, the actual thing the agent does, is the fun part. It's why we code. But before you can write a single line of that brilliant logic, you hit this massive, tedious roadblock, the setup. Which brings us to part one, the context switching problem. Let's dive right into this because this is the exact friction point that just kills developer momentum today. Right now, getting an agent actually working in Teams is, well, it's a bit of a gauntlet. First, you configure an identity. Then you generate your credentials. After that, you have to manually author a manifest file. And finally, you have to carefully wire all of these disparate pieces together. Like, sure, each of these steps is relatively straightforward on its own, but put them all together, they create an absolute headache that drains your time before you even start building. Because here is what wiring that up actually looks like in practice. You aren't just sitting happily in your workflow. You are constantly bouncing around, from the Azure Portal to handle identity, over to the developer portal for team settings, and then back to your code editor. It is just a sheer wall of context switching. You're spending all your cognitive energy navigating different UI dashboards instead of thinking about your application's logic. But what if we just let AI handle it? That's part two here, and it is something to get genuinely excited about. Using the new Teams Dev Agent skill, we can now offload that entire setup process. The beauty of this is that you don't have to learn some whole new proprietary platform. The Teams Dev Agent skill plugs directly into the AI coding agents you are probably already using every single day. Whether you're a fan of Copilot, Claude Code, or Cursor, this skill is fully compatible. You get to stay right there in your editor. And the interaction is just ridiculously simple. Instead of manually clicking through a dozen portal menus to register an app, you literally just type natural language to your coding agent. You say, "Help me build a Teams agent that answers FAQs," or even just, "Get my agent running in Teams." You tell it what you want, and the coding agent completely handles the infrastructure workflow for you, from sign-in to getting a working agent live in Teams. And it doesn't stop at just the initial setup either. Development gets messy, things go wrong, we all know it. So if you hit a snag, you can just ask your AI, "Hey, my agent isn't loading in Teams, can you help?" The skill actively jumps in to troubleshoot the problem. And actually, beyond just infrastructure, it'll even help your coding agent write the application logic itself, making sure your code follows all the official best practices straight from the Teams SDK docs. Now, for those of you who are thinking, okay, AI is great, but I really want direct programmatic control, I hear you. Let's peel back the onion in part three, the power of one command. Let's look at the actual engine powering this AI skill, the Teams CLI. Check out how much power is packed into this tool. Just by running the single command Teams app create and giving it your bot's name and endpoint, the CLI does all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Registration, credential generation, manifest creation, boom, handled. All those manual steps we were just complaining about, gone. You don't even have to worry about app registration concepts anymore. And the contrast here is literally night and day. The old way? Getting that agent into Teams meant you had to manually build an app package, manage the manifest, zip the whole thing up, and then sideload it into the client. Honestly, a total chore. The new way? When you run that app create command, it just spits out an installation link. You click it, and Teams handles the entire install flow for you. No manual zip files, no package uploads, just click and go. Which brings us to part four, easy installs and quick fixes. Because as every developer on the planet knows, things will inevitably break. And the new CLI is built to handle those moments perfectly. Here's a quick cheat sheet of your core tools. We've talked about Teams App Create for the heavy lifting, and we'll look at Teams App Doctor in just a second. But I really want to point out that -JSON flag at the bottom. Every single CLI command supports this JSON output flag. If you're building custom tooling or setting up CI/CD pipelines, this is absolutely huge. It makes automation incredibly smooth. So what happens when things do go sideways? You've got the Teams App Doctor command. Instead of staring at some obscure error code and just endlessly guessing what you misconfigured, you run the doctor. It systematically checks your agent's registration, verifies your credentials, tests your endpoint, and validates your manifest. It tells you exactly what is broken so you know instantly what to fix. Okay, so how do you actually get your hands on this? Part 5. Getting started today. Let's look at how to install this on your machine right now. It's super straightforward. First, you run a standard global npm install for @microsoft/teams.cli at the preview tag. Then, to get that AI coding agent magic, you install the Teams SDK plugin directly in your editor's marketplace. And that is the whole shebang. That's all it takes to completely upgrade your workflow. Now, as you dive in and start building, you're definitely going to want to check out the official Teams SDK docs on GitHub to see all the specific flags and advanced capabilities. And of course, since this is in preview, the repository is open for you to file any issues or drop some feedback as you use it. So we've completely removed the roadblocks, right? No more context switching, no more manual manifest files, no more setup headaches. The infrastructure is simply automated. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you don't have to waste time figuring out how to register it, what incredible logic is your agent actually going to run? Happy building, everyone!